All right, we got the Ninaber brothers, Matthew and Jeremy, and Kristen. How do I pronounce your last name properly?
Caster.
Kristen Kaster.
Mhm.
We are talking about your independent film that, wow, just blew me away. A Night's War. I think the last thing I saw remotely close to this visually would be The Norseman. How did you guys pull this off with, with the budget that you did?
We just didn't pay ourselves, I think. No, it was a lot of hard work. We set out really early, just trying to figure out where we could play, like what sets we could build. And both my brother and I, we have a background in construction, so we just started building sets right from the get-go. And it was a huge undertaking, but man, I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things what we lack in budget, we make up for in sweat equity.
So.
And it also helps that you can steal stuff from the construction site.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Exactly.
They're not going to need these pieces for a little while.
We
This
promise to
housing
bring them
development.
back.
Kristen, take us through, since you're not the only Kristen in the film,
Yeah.
there's a couple of you. Take us through the character Avalon and how this all came about for you.
Yeah, Avalon is a character I think I've always dreamt to play from being a little girl, watching movies with like strong lead female characters. That's something I've always dreamt about, like a role playing. So I was so like over the moon when Matt and Jeremy approached me to play Avalon. And I hope that her story will kind of inspire other younger girls as well watching the film.
For the longest time, we haven't had, by the way, thank you also, Matthew, when you wrote this, not making Avalon posture as I'm a strong, independent woman. We kind of figured it out since, you got one of the lead roles in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't need the posturing, which has, for some reason, been a part of cinema for the last half decade. The best way to describe this film, I would say, is fantasy action horror. I think is the easiest way I could describe it. Or am I completely off base in that?
No, that's it's a combination of a lot of things. Like my brother and I, we grew up on Conan the Barbarian and then Braveheart, but then we love Lord of the Rings, and then there's other movies. Like it is a mashup of a lot of stuff, and those movies couldn't lean into chopping heads off the same way that we could. So it's kind of like it is. Yeah, it definitely is fantasy. It's definitely gruesome horror, and it's a lot of fun.
Now, which one of you is the older brother and which one of you is the younger brother?
Oh.
I think it's very evident I'm the older one. I think you
There's
can tell by maturity.
there's a little bit more stress in this beard, so
So you could technically be the younger one because the older one's been picking on you the whole
there
time.
you go. Maybe that's what it is.
Because I was going to say, if that was the case, that's like, how does it feel that the younger brother would be directing and dictating everything to the older brother? But in this regard, it looks like it's just business as usual, the
It's
way
just
the family
business as
dynamics were
usual.
always.
Yeah.
The pecking order was established long ago, so
By your parents and by God. So this
Yeah.
is the way it was said. When you guys sought out to make this film, like how did you pre-plan everything to get the shoot to go as smoothly as it was? What was the time frame in getting it done, with the actual shoot and then pickups?
So right from the get-go, I did not want to do like a bunch of days in a row. We set this up kind of like shooting on weekends with your friends, hanging out, making a movie, and we really leaned into that kind of like just you bring your friends on the weekend to make your best movie. So we would shoot 2 weekends every month. We started in January and we just kept on going. So that's why we have such variation in seasons and and everything just looks so vivid. Is we'd shoot, we'd edit, we'd learn, we'd build the next set, we shoot, edit, learn, build the next set, and we kept on getting better and better and better, and the sets kept on getting bigger and bigger, and we had miniatures getting made while we're filming in the castle, and it really came down to what set is ready to go. Okay, we're going to go film there. And so I think it took us 40 days to film this, which is for an independent movie to be able to film that many days is very unheard of. A lot of films get done in 15 days. And we had a hard time getting this movie funded because when we said to people we're going to film for 40 days, everyone kind of walked away and said, "Yeah, we're not funding that." And we're very lucky to have Patrick from Epic to believe in this project because it's not a movie like the fight scenes, the witches, the monsters. You can't get it done in a short period of time.
When we
The
pitched it to
costuming
people,
alone.
yeah, when we pitched it to people, they looked at the script and they just said, "There's no way you guys can get this done."
Like it's not possible. So, but
Like
we did
at
it.
all, or like in 40 days with the budget
Well,
that you're
they
Just
looking for?
Both.
even yeah, and we had to shoot a lot of the hard stuff at the beginning just to make sure that everybody was comfortable. They're like, "How are you going to do this?" Well, I'm like, "Okay, we'll just go do it, show it to you," and they're like, "Oh, you did it." So,
And we were getting people to join off this project. We warned people. We said, "Hey, like this isn't going to be a walk in the park. Like unless you love hard work and sacrifice for making the movie." Like Quentin Tarantino, he always says to his crew when he makes them redo a take, he's like, "Why are we doing this again?" And they all shout back, "Because we love making movies." And we tell people it's just like, if you don't love making movies and you're not willing to like work hard, like this probably isn't your project. Like we had to space it out for building sets, but also like it was an
going to war.
undertaking. Like we'd hike out into these remote locations, and it'd be a couple kilometers. We'd be going in there, walking in, Kristen and I, full armored up, carrying gear, and we're slipping, climbing up and down these hillsides, and some of them are like 40-foot little hillsides we have to climb.
we didn't just pull over to the side of the road and just point the camera into some trees. We actually went into the wilderness to get these shots, and like the crew had to hook themselves up to sleds to pull the equipment out, and it was a big undertaking. It was very cold. We're lucky we had I think it was like 150 days of no sun, which was perfect for us because we didn't want any sun in our shots. So really lucked out, but it was cold. It was really cold.
Yeah, I don't think we could have filmed it any quicker. Like we needed that recovery time throughout the week just to get ready for that weekend again.
Right. And Kristen's bonus selling point is that you guys paid for her dog sitter so she could come out and do this.
Could be.
Yeah.
Wait, you did?
I'm just throwing stuff out there, like to, incentive programs for the sequel if there will be one.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, the thing with filming in Canada, it's a frozen tundra. It's what is it? It's 15 degrees Celsius in July. When you have this in the middle of winter as you're doing scenes, and in the fall and early spring, depending on the time frame that you're out there, the elements play a huge part in this. How, as a performer, do you sit there and bear these elements while trying to make it as believable as possible without ruining the take and going, "Dear God, I'm gonna lose a toe"?
Oh, that's funny. I mean, there was lots of times where I think we thought that and maybe felt that as well. I know, I mean, Jeremy had to do a scene where he had blood all over his hands, and it was freezing cold that day. I think it was like minus 16 for us here, and he put his hands in water afterwards to wash
Which
them
was
off.
in
I think he
August.
thought he was going to lose his hands after, and I was just like, it was just crazy the things we were doing to just get the shot and keep moving day after day.
But how rewarding is that as not only as a performer, but as part of this cast and crew, to sit there and we suffered and endured all this for an incredible film that no one thought could be made?
I think one of those moments was both Jeremy and Kristen are on this frozen Arctic lake, and it's cold. The armor, if you touch it, your hand will actually freeze to it. And we had one actor come out to do the fight scene with Jeremy the Barbarian, and he hasn't gone through everything that Kristen and Jeremy had gone to. They've been in the wilderness, they've been in the cold. It's been 20 days of them just freezing, so they've climatized. And this guy is actually my trainer. He's a very massive masculine man.
He's a mountain of a man.
And partway through filming, he's just like, "Guys, I'm done." And I'm like, "What?" He's like I'm done. And Kristen's there with like half the amount of clothing on as him, and he's just like, "I can't do this." And to see he actually had to bow out of the scene, and there's Jeremy and Kristen who are just standing there we'll keep going, we're good, just ice on the beard. And it was a very Yeah,
We
I don't
flew
know how
all
to
the way
describe.
we
Yeah,
flew all the way out to get this shot, and it was like it's a big part of the movie. It's like it's gorgeous landscape, and we like yeah, you step out onto the ice. It was I think the wind chill that morning. It started minus 24 degrees Celsius in the wind chill. There's about 60 to 70 km/h winds that brought it up, and it was well past into the 30s and 40s with wind chill. And we stepped out onto this lake where you really felt it, and we're just like, oh, good God, like, are we gonna survive?
so like ice on the beard. Kristen had like icicles across her eyelashes, and it was just yeah, it was good. It looks amazing. It looks amazing. So what can you
Yeah,
say?
guys, I live in California and it's so cold this morning that I had to put socks on. So I feel your pain in everything that you're going through right now because I can empathize.
You got it. You got it.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because when you get a script like this, it allows you to be, a powerful woman in this fantasy realm of sword and sorcery and demonic possession and everything else that is a part of the story. Because I'm trying my best not to give spoilers, which I hate doing, and I always like, but in the second scene, how much more relief is that for you as a performer, or how exciting is that as a performer than, the girlfriend or the shopkeeper, or you're going to end up in a Hallmark movie and you trying to save your sister's bakery or whatever it is.
Those were
Yeah.
all our next movies.
Oh,
So
shoot, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I am very fortunate and blessed to have been given the opportunity to play this role. And it's like I said, it's a dream come true and so much more like meaty the character is. There's so much more to her than just, like you said, the girlfriend or like the girl next door or whoever she is. And I I was just so excited to go on this journey with her. And I think, as we were talking about braving the elements and freezing, being freezing cold, shooting, I think it added to our characters and our journey. And then, when you watch the film back, it's like, you're just so proud of everything you put into it. Um, and you kind of feel like you yourself are on the journey because it was actually also so cold and like, you're also braving the elements too. But yeah, this role, I think, kind of like once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm, yeah, very, very grateful for it.
Kristen, next film, Florida Keys. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We're going to try to warm you guys up. February 11th, A Night's War will be available on VOD from Epic Pictures, Imprint, Dread. Where can we find everybody on social media so we can keep the conversation going about the film after they've seen it?
hit us up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we hang out. So
Yeah.
just our names.
All right.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Again, A Night's War, February 11th. The sequel will be A Night's War, Baked Good Battles, and we'll make sure it happens.
Love it.